I think that it's all about finding a balance. The workplace should be a place where freedom prevails, of course, as long as the expression of religion does not fall into hard proselytizing or harassment. The question really isn't about what thoughts on religious expression or traditional clothing, but more about the necessity of reasonable accommodation to make sure that both the company and the employee thrive. So long as clothing does not physically interfere with the work being done, it should not be a problem. And I believe that we should be far beyond the point where someone's clothing style is jarring to others, especially as the world becomes more multicultural, globalized, and interconnected. We need to put this decision into a broader context, which is the rise of anti-Muslim hatred in the West, and especially the constant targeting of Muslim women who are visibly Muslim, who wear a religious garment such as the headscarf. And there is an irrational hostility. There is fear and hatred towards Muslims that have worsened in recent years, especially in the aftermath of the rise of nationalists and the rise of the far right. And of course, the national security context and the wave of terrorist attacks that occurred across Europe did not help. Many amalgams were done between terrorism and Islam, and of course this led to this open hatred towards Muslims and policies that affect their lives. And I think that the negative attitude has resulted in a constant growth of attacks towards Muslims, as well as many kind of discrimination, whether it's on the job market or housing, and so on. And of course, headscarf bans have consequences on the career prospects of women, as it may influence their choices, not only of employment, but even before when they start college, for example. This will impact their decisions, and sometimes they will even give up on their dream job. So such a ban narrows Muslims' professional perspectives, and many will look for another place to study or to work if their employer does not accept them wearing a headscarf. And like I said, many of them will turn down a dream job or dream career. And even more sadly, I'm talking of France here, but I would not be surprised if this phenomenon also appears in Europe. Many women, especially those who are educated, decide to leave the country to find opportunities elsewhere in countries where this is not a problem, where religious freedom is effectively protected. And that's a shame, because not only we are losing on an economic level, there is a brain drain, and very variable people are leaving because of the way they are treated. But it's also a shame, especially when you live in a country or a continent that is supposed to upheld by human rights values. It is highly relevant to situate bans on religious signs, again, in a broader societal context, in which these bans will mainly affect Muslims wearing a headscarf, and especially women. So there is a gender component as well. And one of the main issues here is that every time we talk about the hijab, automatically it is problematized. It's a women's rights issues, but without bringing the women affected by such bans to the conversation. We are going to save you, but on our own term. And this is wrong. And as such, headscarf bans are spreading in many areas of life. And they, like I said, they can deeply affect women in their life choices, their career opportunities, and so on. And I think that courts, and especially supranational courts like the European Court of Human Rights or the European Union Court of Justice, need to have the courage to address the problematic nature of this ongoing widening sphere in which limitations and barriers are placed on Muslim women. And it is an opportunity, I think, for these courts, and until now they really failed in my opinion, so there are many missed opportunities to do so, but it has to be an opportunity to finally make freedom the rule and restrictions the exception. But right now we are seeing the opposite, and unfortunately I think that freedom of religion in Europe, and especially under the European Convention of Human Rights, is extremely weak, and something really must be done about it.